What's going on, YouTube family? I don't know if anybody's gonna get on here. I just learned about live. I was like, I'm gonna go live. Most people don't know me on YouTube. They know me over on Instagram. But I thought that I would get on here and try to add some value and meet some people. I'm not exactly sure if anybody gets on. It looks like somebody's on right now. What's going on? I just want to introduce myself, and I titled this "How to Build a Six-Figure Online T-Shirt Brand." My name is Charles Smith, and I have a T-shirt brand that I've been running for 2 years. And basically, in 1 year, I ended up getting it to multiple six figures and earned multiple six figures within 30 days. And then the next year, which was this past Father's Day, did extremely well and really multiplied that by like 3. And so there are several things that go into building a multiple six-figure T-shirt brand online, but it doesn't have to be hard. And that's really the myth that I want to demystify. When it comes to being able to sell your T-shirts online, there's a few things that you need. One of the first things that I feel like you need is what we call a message to audience match. So if you want to sell your T-shirts, you need to have a message to audience match. And what that means is you need to identify a specific niche, a specific audience that you can market to online. Hold on, bud. Hold on. So you need to have a specific audience that you need to identify that you want to sell to. There's a lot of people out there who do things different ways. So some people will build what we call a general store. And what a general store is, a store that really appeases to several different audiences. You might have shirts that have to deal with basketball players. You might have shirts that have to deal with movies. You might have shirts to deal with hairdressing, with shopping, with motherhood, a whole lot of different things. Hold on, bud. Hold on. All right, hold on. Hey, one here. Take great. All right, so you might have a store that deals with so many different, niches, and that's what we call a general store. That's not really my preference when it comes to building an online store. What I like to do is build a store which is based on one niche and one target audience. And so when you talk about target audiences, you can go several different directions with that. Number one, you can choose like demographics, right? So it might be for men, it might be women, and then you might even niche down further than that. Maybe it's for teenage women, maybe it's for college women, maybe it's for older women, maybe it's for grandmothers, maybe it's for people who are moms, maybe it's people, women who are aunts, right? And then you might even go further than that. Maybe it's for teenage women that are into sports, or teenage women who are into cosmetology and makeup, or teenage women who are into horseback riding. We always talk about how to niche down and go 2 levels down than what you're already comfortable at. So me personally, I'm all about niche, because the thing is, when you can speak a message to an audience that they all have the same beliefs, they have the same demographic, they have the same jobs, then it's a lot easier to create products that they'll really love, right? So the first one that I talked about is demographic. Another way to be able to build your T-shirt brand around a niche is basically by mindset. So a lot of people will create brands based on mindset. It's funny, as a matter of fact, I'm in the process of building a brand new brand from scratch right now that's built around gratitude, right? And basically the reason why I ended up finding this specific niche, I did a lot of Google searches. I went to YouTube, I went to Facebook pages, Facebook groups, and I noticed that there were audiences that were already out there that I could create T-shirts and products around. See, a lot of the times people try to reinvent the wheel. When it comes to building a T-shirt brand, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. What you need is to find out which ponds of water does that audience already, where are they already located? And then when it comes to your marketing, it's about putting your content and putting your fishing rod in that pond, and then reeling out those specific customers in that target demographic that would buy from you and putting your bait in front of them. And so I did all of the front end research, and I was like, yeah, this is a viable market. A lot of people have this mindset about gratitude, about gratefulness, about thankfulness, right? About being appreciative. And I can create products that allow them to be able to express their beliefs outwardly, right? So, mindset is a perfect way to be able to build a brand, right? Beliefs, core beliefs that people have. They'll rally around it. You could create a community around it. You can sell a lot of T-shirts that way. So the first thing is, like I said, audience. Now, I mentioned before, it's called message to audience match. So the thing is you can have the right audience, but if you don't know how to speak to that audience, if you don't know how to talk to that audience in a way that they resonate with your brand, then you're not going to connect with them. You can always have the right audience, right? But you can have the wrong message and there's going to be a disconnect, okay? Or you can have the wrong audience, but you can have a message that is on point, but you're speaking to the wrong people and it's not going to connect as well. So you have to have a message to audience match. All right. And so this is the way that you can figure out how to speak to your audience. You need to get into the Facebook groups. You need to see what people are commenting. One of my favorite ways is I'll go to a Facebook group around gratitude or whatever the product is, and I'll go through and I'll look at the post that got like 500 likes or 1,000 likes. And I study that and I'm like, okay, why did they like this specific post? Like what was said? What was the comments that people were talking about? I'll go to Instagram and I'll find different hashtags related around my niche. And from there, I'm like, okay, what are they saying about this? What's going on? I'll even come here to YouTube and I'll type in different keywords and I look at the comments and I look at the videos and I'm like, why are they responding? And a lot of the times, man, when it comes to t-shirts, you can find quotes, you can find sayings, you can find small little sentences that you can easily incorporate into your brand. You can create a t-shirt around it. And just for instance, just yesterday, I was on Instagram. I typed in gratitude hashtags. I found a few pages. A lot of these had 2,000 likes, 5,000 likes. I took a few of those little memes that they had on their page. I brought them over in Canva and I started creating designs around them. So, you know, that's what it's really about, man. It's about finding stuff that's already in the marketplace and putting your own twist to it. Now, the next thing that it comes when you want to talk about selling thousands of t-shirts and building a multiple six-figure t-shirt brand, it's about design, you know what I'm saying, at the end of the day. But just like creating concepts for the design, you don't have to recreate the wheel. I'm a creator, right? But I'm not a creator. I would say that I'm not a creator where I just create from scratch. If I have a few raw materials, I can take that, I can iterate it and make it like it's something that's brand new. And so for me, what I like to do is I'll go to Etsy or I'll go to Pinterest and I'll just type in like t-shirt designs, right? And from there, I'll find different formats that might be related to a totally different niche, but it'll be a format that I think looks good on a t-shirt. And then what I'll end up doing is I'll put my words on it, I'll put my pictures on it, and I'll just take off. You know what I'm saying? I have a few different t-shirts in my store right now where I've sold thousands. I'm talking about probably over 5,000 t-shirts of, you know, one design where I found the format off of Pinterest, right? And it was related to like basketball, and I have a brand that's related to fatherhood, right? And my colors are totally different, but I took that core structure and then I ended up recreating it. And so that's what you're supposed to do. So the other thing is, like, when it comes to, you know, selling online, a lot of people want to talk about Facebook ads or Instagram ads or YouTube ads or how to get your message out there. But it doesn't matter if you don't have a good t-shirt. You know what I'm saying? If it doesn't look attractive, people want to wear stuff that looks good. And you don't have to be, you know what I'm saying, the Picasso of making t-shirts, but you just need to have something that's decent, right? So that's the next thing. Now, the other thing that I tell you is, okay, say you have your audience that you want to serve. Say after that you have your audience, you end up having your message, you end up having your t-shirts. Well, it's not one of those things where it's like build it and they will come. You know what I'm saying? That's not how it works. You need to have a marketing system. I always compare marketing to this. Your t-shirt brand or your product or your service is like a car. And you can have the Mercedes-Benz S550, whatever it is, of t-shirt brands. But if your car has no fuel in the tank, that car goes nowhere. And so what is the fuel in the tank? The fuel is the marketing, right? The fuel is being able to understand how to take that message and take that brand and get it in front of your core audience. And if once you put fuel in that tank, that car moves. Without marketing, it just sits there and it sits still. And it's a shame because I've run across so many different people who have great t-shirt brands, but they're like, why isn't it selling, Charles? I'm just like, you know, you don't have, you know, a marketing system in place. So what's going on, Keyprint Co? What's going on, family? So look, when it comes to having a marketing system in place, my bread and butter probably over the last, I don't know, like 4 years has been Facebook and Instagram ads. The reason why Facebook and Instagram ads work so well is because you can truly laser target your target audience, what we talked about earlier. You can find the audience that is related to whatever you're selling, right? And you can do this by interest-based targeting. You can drill down by gender and age. You can go so far into it, And for anybody who has never ran Facebook or Instagram ads before for your t-shirt brand, all you have to do is go to business.facebook.com. All right, business.facebook.com. A few elements to this. If you're on Facebook, if you're on Instagram, and you've ran ads before and you have a t-shirt brand, one thing that you should know is that Facebook and Instagram make it very, very easy to be able to run ads just by pushing the boost button. But you don't want to push the boost button. You know what I'm saying? They easy right there. The boost or the promote button, it's that blue button that sits under your picture or under your caption, and you can spend money, but that's not the way to do it. When you're talking about getting engagement, likes, comments, shares, that's where that boost button comes into play. When we're talking about conversions and being able to sell, really make t-shirt sales online, you're going to waste a lot of money. It becomes really like, it's just a waste, right? So what you want to do when you run ads is go to business.facebook.com. That is the Facebook Business Manager. And that's where all the magic happens. Now you need to be trained and you need to understand how to really work and operate the Business Manager for your ads to be effective, because it's a lot of buttons in there and there's different components about making your ads work. So kind of let's talk about this. Number one, when you go into the Business Manager, you have 3 different pockets that you need to focus on. Number one is called a campaign. Facebook has so much data on how we use their platform for Instagram and Facebook. It's ridiculous. It knows which posts you like. It knows which videos you watch. It knows how much of those videos you watch. It knows what you share. It knows who you follow. It knows like little random posts that you like, all type of stuff. And so it's captured all of this data. And based on that data, it's powerful for us marketers. So number one, they have different campaign objectives. One campaign objective, for instance, is being able to send ads to people who watch video, right? So they call it video views. Another one is engagement, right? So if you want likes, comments, and shares, you can send your ads to a target of people who engage. Now, when it comes down to our Instagram, our sales, then what we want to do is we want to run ads for conversion. We want to optimize for conversion. So that's the very first part, right? That's the first bucket. The next bucket, when it comes to creating our campaigns to sell our t-shirts online, it has to do with our ad set. Now, within the ad set, what we're able to do is we're able to choose our budget, how much we want to spend for that campaign. We're able to choose our target audience. We're able to choose where we want our ads to show. We can show an Instagram feed, Instagram stories, Facebook feed, Facebook stories, Facebook marketplace, all types of different places on social media. And that's what we do in the ad set. Then when we get over to the ad section, and it comes to selling our t-shirts, this is where we create our ads. So we're talking about the picture that we use. We're talking about the videos that get used, but then we're also talking about the ad copy. We want to be able to write ad copy that draws an emotional response from our target audience. You know what I'm saying? We can choose what interest we want to target. Absolutely, Key Print Company. You can choose the interest that you want to target, right? And then, so like I said, when we get on the ad section, it's all about ad copy and stopping the scroll. The first thing that we want to do, we have to understand, say for instance, somebody is searching on Google. People know what they want to do when they search on Google, right? It's called intent-based marketing, right? So these people that who go on Google, I'm typing in, like, say I'm a fish lover. I like fishing. So I'm like, t-shirts for fishermen, right? That's intent-based. So basically that person already knows what they're looking for. But then when we talk about Instagram and we talk about Facebook, this is called direct response marketing. And what happens is people are on these platforms and they're not searching for your product like they're doing on Google. All they're doing, they're scrolling through, they're looking at cat videos, they're looking at funny videos, they're looking at pictures of their friends on vacation, all type of different stuff. And then boom, here's maybe an ad that pops up that has to do with your t-shirt brand, and you have to be able to grab their attention. So when I talk about grabbing their attention, it has to do with stopping the scroll. You want to be able to have something where your ad looks appealing to be able to get them, as they're scrolling through, that they stop and pay attention to what you're offering and putting out into the marketplace. Now, you can do this in a lot of different ways. One of my favorite ways is to be able to use bright colors or use some type of quick animation that moves objects on a specific ad and catches people's attention. But at the same time, also what I like to do in the ad copy is I like to call out my target audience, right? So if I'm saying fathers, I'm going to have fathers in all caps at the very beginning of my ad copy. So if there's a father that is going through and they see fathers in all caps, they're going to see that, right? And I got something that I'm selling for soccer players. I'm going to have soccer players in all caps in the very first words. So if they go through and they see soccer players, although the picture might not even caught their attention, if they see that, they're going to be like, okay, I'm a soccer player. What is this talking about? And they can read further into it. So it's all about stopping the scroll. But then at the same time, what you want to do is you want to offer value. You also want to try to trigger some type of emotional response. This is the thing. People, listen, they buy off of emotion, right? They buy off of emotion, right? Logic, right? Logic maybe makes the first decision. They think about logic after, but people make the decision. They make emotional purchases. And so if you can pull heartstrings in some type of way, if you can speak their language in some type of way and be able to pluck some of those chords that deal with emotion, you can get them to move and buy. The next part of your ad is you also want to have some type of scarcity, right? So they call it FOMO. They call it fear of missing out. It's called FOMO. And basically with FOMO, what you want to do is say, there's some type of sale that you're having that's going to be a limited time, or it's for a limited amount of people, or only a certain amount of people can use this discount code, or you only have a few units left. That is going to cause people to move faster, because if you just have it regular, people are going to be like, oh, I like this. I can come back maybe next week. You have to put some type of scarcity and urgency on it as well. All right. So then the next thing, after all of the marketing and after all of the ads, the next important part is having a website that is able to convert that traffic. One of the big things that I always hear from people that I work with is, Charles, people are coming to my website, they're clicking on my ads, but nobody is purchasing. Think of it like this, right? Think about if you went into you went into Macy's, or you went into some type of store, right? And you needed something, you needed to buy something, but it was just messy. There was end rails pushed over, clothes were pushed all over the floor. It smelled bad. It was messy. You couldn't find out where the cash register was. It was just all discombobulated and messed up. People would leave that store. Well, it's the same way for your website, right? A lot of people's e-commerce stores are not optimized. People get on the store, they get lost, buttons don't work, they click on different links and it leads them to some type of error or 404 page. They can't find different categories. The navigation is messed up. The pictures are too small. It's too difficult to navigate. And so what happens is people get to your website and they end up leaving because they can't find out what they want. So you have to make sure that your store is optimized. Now, let's say you have all of those elements in place, right? Now, the next thing that you want to focus on is when people leave your website and they don't buy, how do you stay in front of those people again? All right. It's all about retargeting. Have you ever heard the saying of where it's the money is in the follow-up, right? The sale is in the follow-up. That's what it's about. So when people visit your e-commerce store, if you look at the industry average, only 3% of people buy on the very first visit. So if there's 100 people that come to your store, 3 people buy, 3% buy. The 97% people leave. Now, does it mean that 97% of people are not interested? No, it doesn't mean that they're not interested. They can have to wait till payday. They may have to wait until maybe their battery died. Maybe that they were at work and the boss walked by and they threw the phone in the drawer. All type of different stuff happens. So you have to make sure that you have retargeting ads to stay in front of those people and be able to, bring them back. And what you'll find is that your retargeting ads are going to be your most profitable ads that you have, right? Getting back in front of your target audience and telling them to come back, those are going to be your most profitable ads. And so that's what we call the full marketing funnel. So we talked about your audience and identifying your key audience. We talked about what is the message that you're speaking to your audience. We talked about attractive t-shirt designs. We talked about a marketing system that pushes your t-shirt forward. We also talked about your e-commerce store. We talked about follow-up sequences, whether it's Facebook ads, whether it's YouTube ads, whether it's email, whether it's text message. There's so many different ways to get back in front of your audience. You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous, right? And so those are the things that you really need to be thinking about. You know what I'm saying? That regardless of what level you're in, especially if you're a beginner, you need to focus on all those different elements to make it all fit together like a nice puzzle like a nice funnel. And I always compare it to this. If you've never, like if you've watched my YouTube video, I have a full video. It's like 20 minutes long. And I compare people going through your marketing funnel like a pipe. So say for instance, you have a pipe and water is going through your pipe. What you want to do is have water, which is your customers, come through one end of the pipe, and you want the water to get all the way through the other end of the pipe, which is a sale. Now, in between that pipe, you're going to have leaky parts of your funnel. You know, your ad might not be good enough. Your e-commerce store might not be good enough. Your follow-up sequence might not be good enough. Your product pages might not be strong enough. And as that happens, you're going to have more and more people leaking out of that pipe, and they're not going to make it all the way through to the purchase. But once you can tighten up different areas of your marketing funnel on your marketing side, but then also your store side, that's when you can drive a lot of sales. Remember this stat, 3% of people buy on the very first visit, right? When you're doing really good, you might have 5, 6, 7, 10%, right? The other day I was just looking at my store, and basically it had like 10% conversion rate, right? Today it's probably sitting around 5% conversion rate. That's because my funnel has been tightened up and it's not leaking on my website, and you know, people are able to push through all the way through the buying process. So with that being said, man, I just wanted to give y'all a little bit of game. Like I said, I never ever come here on YouTube. If you go to my Instagram, you can find me at T-Shirt Millionaires on Instagram. But I decided that, you know what I'm saying, on a whim, I just wanted to come here and talk about T-shirts here on YouTube, and possibly start letting y'all get to know me on this platform as well, and not just on Instagram. So like I said, for anybody who is interested, feel free to follow me on Instagram. You can go there. I'm T-Shirt Millionaires, and I give a lot of information, a lot of free game over there as well. So I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for the 1, 2, 3 people, whoever may have hopped on, and look forward to building with y'all in the future, man. Y'all take care. So I wonder if like it's like a